Hey everyone. For the second half of today's Abbott and Costello double feature, we have their 1953 movie, Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Now, a series of murders have hit Hyde Park in London, all committed by a monster of a man. Now, at a suffragette meeting, reporter Bruce Adams, Craig Stevens, meets and becomes interested in their leader, dance hall girl Vicky Edwards, Helen Westcott. However, a fight breaks out and American policemen Slim, Bud Abbott, and Tubby, Lou Costello, try to break it up. They fail and are thrown in jail with everybody else. Now, almost everybody is bailed out by Dr. Henry Jekyll, Boris Karloff, who has taken care of Vicky for quite some time. He gives Vicky a ride to the dance hall, and Bruce decides to invite himself along. Now, Dr. Jekyll has his driver drop him off at his home, while Vicky and Bruce go on to the dance hall. Once in the house, Dr. Jekyll goes to his secret laboratory, where he vents his frustrations to his assistant, Batley, John Dirks. Dr. Jekyll is now mad at Bruce's interference with Vicky, as he himself has been in love with Vicky for a long time. Dr. Jekyll decides to inject himself with his serum, thus turning him into the monstrous Mr. Hyde, and he goes to the dance hall with the intention of killing Bruce. As for Slim and Tubby, it resulted in them being thrown off the force. While walking home, they see Mr. Hyde trying to get into the dance hall, and thinking he's just a regular burglar, they try to capture him. They end up chasing him away before he can do anything, and with Bruce's aid, they try to follow him on the rooftops. Now they lose him and decide to split up. Tubby goes into a wax museum where Mr. Hyde is hiding. Yep, that pun was intended. But Tubby is able to capture Mr. Hyde, but before he can return with anybody, of course the serum wears off, which turns Mr. Hyde back into Dr. Jekyll. Now Slim and Tubby are in trouble with the police inspector yet again. But Dr. Jekyll asks the two of them to accompany him home and stay there for the night. While there, Tubby finds himself unable to sleep, so he decides to explore the house. He finds Dr. Jekyll's laboratory and runs into Batley. He gets away and tries to tell Slim. In the process, he also wakes up Dr. Jekyll, who admits to having a lab, and he shows them. While they're in there, he leaves for a moment to get something with the intention of killing them. But Tubby drinks something and wanders off, with Slim following closely behind. When the two of them both see that Tubby has turned into a man-sized mouse, an effect that quickly wears off, they go try to tell both Bruce and Vicky. By the time they get back, Dr. Jekyll has all his lab equipment hidden, making Slim and Tubby look foolish. Now Bruce asks Dr. Jekyll for Vicky's hand in marriage, to which he agrees. Well, at least until Bruce leaves, and then he reveals his true colors. Scared, Vicky calls Bruce back, and in the commotion, Dr. Jekyll accidentally injects himself with the serum, turning him back into Mr. Hyde. And unknown to everyone else, Tubby also accidentally gets injected as well. Now, all this results in a chase through London as everybody tries to catch the monster. But which one is which? Now, of the about 4 main films from the Abbott and Costello / monster mashups, I would argue that this one is the weakest of the bunch. One of the biggest problems is how much it strays from the source material. I mean, as I recall, the idea was that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde were supposed to be two different sides of the same man, or something to that effect, with Dr. Jekyll kind of appalled by some of the things that Mr. Hyde does. Here, they seem to just about be one and the same, with Dr. Jekyll being quite willing to kill and being unkind to others, although he uses Mr. Hyde as a cover-up so that he himself is not implicated. Then there's a bit of a werewolf aspect thrown in here, whereby a bite from Lou's Tubby, when he's been turned into the monster near the end of the movie, turns others into the monster by biting them, instead of relying on the serum. Of course, Bud and Lou are still fun to watch, but this movie definitely feels formulaic, especially with them relying more on slapstick and not so much on their comedy routines. Still, in spite of my lower opinion of this movie, it still makes for a decent Halloween movie. Admittedly, the scares are really not that good compared to Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, but in general, that one is tough to beat. In the Wax Museum, we do get wax models of both Dracula and the Frankenstein monster, plus a dangling wire that causes the Frankenstein monster to kind of walk a little, which at least helps the Halloween atmosphere. Again, I really don't think very highly of this movie, and any other time of the year I would not recommend this one, but around Halloween, I'm a bit more forgiving of this film's issues. So maybe give this one a try at this time of the year. Now, this movie is available on Blu-ray from Shout Factory as part of the 28 film The Complete Abbott and Costello Universal Pictures Collection, and is 1 hour and 17 minutes in length. Well, that should be all for this one, everybody, so thanks for listening, and I hope you keep tuning in for more.